Hi, welcome to Pixel Pro Audio Unfiltered. I am Tay, and with me is David and Jay, and we are in the Pixel Pro Audio studios, and we are here to debut our first unfiltered episode, and this show is going to be about what, guys?
It's all you.
Yeah,
we haven't really decided, but we know this is, we want to bring you guys information and just give you a casual talk about gear.
yeah. I mean, this is going to be just a very casual talk. We're going to be just hitting record and going for 10 or 15 minutes every week, and the goal is to do this every week and talk about new gear that's coming out. News that's going on, as well as kind of give you tips and tricks, and just hopefully kind of have a fun little relaxing 10 or 15 minute, journey through audio or something.
So a little bit of everything,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And, we all have a little bit of background in a little bit of everything, music and recording. So we feel we can kind of bring some topics to the table that you may be wondering about or you're not sure about, and hopefully you tune in to see what we have to say about it, because we work around gear all the time. Every day we're working around gear, different types of gear, and so we kind of want to do this because we want to help you guys out, and just to kind of tell you what we're dealing with on a daily basis, on a weekly basis.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of conversations every week that we think are really interesting and fun, and if we find them interesting, you probably will too,
hopefully.
And so we thought, well, why don't we just put some of that stuff on camera, because a lot of the times where we're really getting in depth on kind of nerdy subject with audio, it's tough to actually have that kind of conversation with people and customers, and so we thought this would be a good way of doing that, and just putting those conversations on camera.
Absolutely.
So let's before we go any further, let's do our public service announcement.
Yep, we do have a PSA, and that is we are Pixel Pro Audio. We do sell pro audio gear and equipment. We also sell other things like used guitars and accessories, but we want to just come up. We want to come out and say that we sell gear that we're going to be talking about, and we want to make that perfectly clear. We're not hiding anything, and we will also talk about gear we don't currently sell, but we will talk about it in the capacity in which we will be comparing gear. We'll be telling you how one piece of gear maybe does something really well versus something else. So that's kind of what we wanted to say. Do you guys have
I guess the bottom line is we're not critics. We sell this stuff. And I mean, we're not going to be dishonest about anything. We're probably going to focus, more on the things that we actually really like than come on here and bring on the new product and trash it. That's not what we're going to do.
No.
And for obvious reasons, we have relationships with the manufacturers, and if we bring their new product on here and say this thing is horrible, they're not going to like that, and that's not what this is going to be about. We're not critiquing and reviewing things other than in the capacity of saying we really like this thing.
Right. We're going to show you the things we really like, and that's the purpose of the whole show.
Like I said before, we deal with gear and have hands-on with gear every single day, and there's always something to talk about. We're talking about stuff every day down there, concepts or even gear we want to get, and why we want to get it. And like we'll set a budget for each other and be like, okay, with $500, what would you get?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, it's just like like imagining like a shopping spree or something. And that's what it's like. So we do this all the time. A little bit about me, I guess. I have been a drummer most of my life, and that has got me into music and exposed to recording. I actually had the privilege of being recorded by Jay here.
Way back in the day.
Way back in the day. And then I moved forward after working here for a lot of years and developed and organized my own home studio and have done a podcast. Actually, two. One was not really called one, or it was one, but it wasn't. I don't classify it as.
It was for our fantasy football league.
Yeah, so
like it wasn't widely disseminated, or it wasn't like
three
put on
people
iTunes.
were listening.
I don't know if it was on iTunes.
No, because we were.
Yeah, it was just like on a random web page. Yeah.
But then my friend and I decided to do a Packers podcast, and we have been doing that for almost a year and a half now. And we do that every week. We put it out every week. It's called Packer Universe Podcast.
Which I listen to every week, and is actually a very good. If you're into the Packers, it's a really good podcast.
And it's the best sounding podcast I've ever heard. Like, I'm not just saying that because it's right here. Like, it sounds really good.
How many podcasts do you listen to, David?
Yeah, how many Packer podcasts?
Not Packer ones, but listen to like 3 different music and recording ones. So, yeah.
And I've had help from these guys in tuning in my sound, and I'm not as expert in that as these guys are, and they've helped me a lot to fine tune it, and so I'm grateful to them. And we talk about it all the time. So that's a little bit about me.
But wait, before you move on from you, like what's I think we should also talk about what our role is here. What's your role?
Sure.
That's gonna be.
I kind of oversee, I guess, everything.
He's the operations
manager. I do shipping, receiving. I do
everything.
Building.
Building stuff. Anything that needs to be done.
Yeah, it's kind of like
he's going to be editing this. He does videos, Facebook stuff, that kind of stuff.
I do all the lists and all the organizings and all the prep work.
There.
So okay, yeah, we're on point here.
Yeah, all right.
Sometimes he misses things.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm a little bit of everything around here.
I started Pixel Pro Audio, but Tay was our first employee here, and so he's been here pretty much from the start, from when we moved from the basement to being a real business.
So how did you start the company? Can you just tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, when my first son was born, this was in 2000. He was born in 2002. I started the business in 2003, and we needed somebody to stay home and watch the kids, and my wife made a lot more money than me, so I was like, well, I'll do it. And I'm like, well, I get to play with recording gear all day long now. This is going to be great. And, but the kid was crying all the time, so that didn't really work out.
And at the time, you had your own studio in your house.
Yeah, I had a studio. This was my second home studio. And so I just started buying and selling recording equipment, all used stuff. And it was used until probably 5 years ago.
Yeah.
It was all used gear. And yeah, I mean, we just kind of grew and grew and grew, and we've moved buildings a couple times.
Yep.
And that's how it started. It was just on a shoestring budget with nothing, and just grew it.
We're downtown Appleton now, so if you guys are in the area or have seen it, we're on the corner of State and College. We have a great show floor that shows off all of our new products, so it's nice. It's fun to walk into, and we let you go in here. You just walk around and see what's around and see what you need.
Yeah. And I started out first, before I did this, I was doing studio work. I went to school for recording, and I did some studio work, built 2 home studios, and then kind of was like, well, I need to make some money. So
yeah, you worked at Smart, right?
Yeah, I did that. I worked at Smart Studios, which is now defunct, but
right.
Yeah.
That's a cool thing.
So David, give us a 30-second recap.
Of
30 seconds.
No, I'm just teasing. Just like a little bit about how you got here.
Yeah, where did you start out recording? What did you start out? What got you into it?
So this is a terrible way to find out, but when I was looking for colleges, I wanted to go for music. I knew that, so I was like, "Oh, recording sounds pretty cool. I'll try that." And luckily enough, I fell in love with it. But I don't recommend trying to find out if you like recording that way.
That's a really bad way to do it, actually. Like, I know a lot of people who did that, and it didn't work out for them like it worked out for you.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm glad it worked out for me. I fell in love with it.
And he does. I mean,
I'm such a nerd.
There's nobody nerdier that I know, I don't think.
Yeah, I love the idea that you can capture a sound wave that's never going to sound like that ever again, and you can manipulate it. You can make it sound even better. You can totally destroy it with distortion if you want to. I don't know. I find all this fascinating. So I've gotten my degree in recording. I did an internship here 3.5 years ago.
A music business internship, right?
Yeah, music business internship. And then ever since then I've been...
Now he's our lead sales guy.
Yeah.
And he does a really great job. So if you I know here's where we are a business, but if you want somebody who's gonna nerd out with you and talk to you about gear and help you find the right stuff, that's all right. That's all we'll say about that.
Okay.
But you currently do your own recordings,
Yeah.
and you play in a band, and so you're actively in the music field,
Right.
and
Yeah.
recording.
I've got a home studio. It's Source Track Studio. I've had a really busy year. It's been great. Working with a lot of really awesome clients. I haven't had a single bad one yet, so that's great. Rare. And I'm also playing in 2 bands. One is called Shield the Survivors. We're working on a full-length album, and the other is Noetic. You haven't heard anything yet, but
you picked up the bass to play in that band,
I
right?
actually started off as a bass player.
Did you really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
That was in 7th grade.
I thought you started off as French horn.
Yeah, is it after French horn?
Yeah. So, yeah, but my first stringed instrument was bass guitar, and then
Okay.
I ended up getting.
So did I.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we talked about this before.
Did we?
Yeah. Now it's on
See,
camera.
like I said, unfiltered. We're gonna keep that in.
Now you can't forget.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so that's where I'm at now.
Great.
Yeah.
So the situation around here and the setup is always probably going to change on these episodes.
Like this is like shoestring budget.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of. We just whipped this together, grabbed some cheap condenser microphones to get us going. It's just we whipped it together real quick.
David, can you tell us what we are using and the signal chain we are using to record this?
Yeah. So we're going into these MX. I got a box.
Here,
right
I'll
now.
hold this.
Thank you. I got my coffee. We're using the MXL 2008.
Better than the box is the actual microphone.
Right.
Can I see that?
Sure.
Now, these weren't actually made in 2008, were they?
I don't know.
Is this when they were
No, that could
manufactured?
be. I
We
have
have
no
like a
idea.
2010 and 2002.
Because they do. They have 2002, 2010, 2006.
2006. Yeah, I don't know where they get their model numbers from.
Anyway,
Who knows? That could be like a revision
Yeah.
thing. Who knows?
continue.
Okay. So these are currently on sale. Actually, what are they going? $50?
$50. So like, if you're getting into podcasting, it doesn't cost that much money. A $50 microphone and a $100 interface, and you're ready to go for a single person podcast.
Right. Yeah. So these sound great for being $50, especially. So we just threw them up, and then we're going into the Claret 8 Pre-X. If you guys can't see that, maybe my mic is blocking it. Tay will have a picture right about here. Maybe he'll make it float with my hand.
Maybe down here.
Like
Down
we
here?
said, low budget right now. We got one camera and no cameraman.
But we have a really good interface, which is nice because we use that for our lessons here. We're gonna have a really busy next year for our lessons workshops. So
Yeah, this
keep
is
an
our
eye out for
lessons
those.
room too. So we shoot videos in here and we do lessons and stuff
Yeah.
in here.
Is that a Thunderbolt interface?
It is. That is the Thunderbolt version. They only make the 8 Pre-X in Thunderbolt.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. And then are you gonna do some processing on our voices and stuff?
Yeah, I'll probably have gates on. I might just cut the silence between. Maybe a little bit of compression just to even things out.
You're gonna put some filters on it.
I'm gonna put a big filter on it. And then we just have a camera.
Yeah.
A Canon T3i camera for video.
So yeah, we're throwing this together, and this setup will probably change.
Yeah, well,
quite
it will.
often.
It's going to get better and better as we go along, and we'll kind of, as we change out gear, we're going to tell you. I mean, that's kind of the whole format of this podcast is as things get better, we're going to talk about it. Like we get a new microphone in here, we're going to talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be sweet.
So that's kind of the gist of it. We're going to do this every week. So we hope you come back and see what we have to say about it. Go to our YouTube channel. That's where this will be too. Subscribe. Go to our Facebook, subscribe. We'll probably put this on Facebook as well.
And if you guys have suggestions, leave them in the comments.
Yeah, and
below.
ask questions because we want to do customer questions and things
Yes,
too.
please.
So
And then hit the notification button. That's what
Yeah.
they say.
Literally anything you need to know or want to know or just curious about doesn't matter. Let's just throw the
Ask.
questions down. We'll see what happens.
and
Yes. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say most of the time we run into that question or we have a solution, or if we don't know it, we
We'll
will
find
go
out.
research it for you and find out, because then most, if that's the case, we don't really know what the deal is. So
And
we'll figure it out.
At least early on, we'll probably answer every question.
Right.
At least early on. I mean, we can't guarantee that as we go along. But for now,
Right.
if you have a question, ask it. We'll probably answer.
Yeah.
So again, thanks for watching, and we'll be back next week on Pixel Pro Audio Unfiltered.